Today, we are going to be doing a full schedule prediction for the 2025 Chicago Bears. We're going to start off Monday night. We have the Minnesota Vikings on primetime week 1. Dobbs, I have a unique kind of take, I feel like, on the first 4 games of the schedule. But do you think the first week is a win or a loss for the Bears?
Well, I'll say it like this, Hunter, because I'm an honest guy. I think it doesn't, to me, it doesn't matter whether this is the first week or not, because and I do this every year. When it comes to division games, especially when it's a division is close and just like, I'm saying there's a lot of good teams, as it is with the North. I think I'm going to have division games split because you never know. You never want to 2-0 it. You never, unless there's a team
Right.
that's just abysmal in the division, right? And, I just feel like as far as it goes with, right, the NFC North is kind of like, I'm going to have a splitting. But I'll say this, right? For the first one, you know what? It's tough. I think the Vikings are going to come in hot, and yeah, we expect the Bears to be a lot better. If you were to say right, pick whether it's going to be the first or second time we see the Vikings, I would probably lean that it'll be the second time that we get the win. But you know what?
So let me
It
give
could
you
go
my
either way.
counter argument. So while I do think that I understand what you're saying, I also do think that Ben Johnson is familiar with the division, and this will be JJ McCarthy's first start.
That's a very good point.
Primetime week 1 versus Dennis Allen. I think they personally win this game.
You know what? No, you sold me, and it's not even that I
If we
forgot.
got to
It's more
trade
just
one
like
later, that's fine, but I think they win this one.
I do think JJ is going to be better off the bat than some people think, but I am with you. Like, this Bears offense is coming ready. And my boy Dennis Allen, like my boy Dennis Allen forever, he's here to show out. You sold me. You know what? There's no way. And realistically, that's kind of the thing too. Is yeah. Again, ideally, and as much as I do believe in JJ McCarthy, as much as a lot of Bears fans might not want to hear that, right? I think. Oh, right. Let me be clear. With that being said, there's also a chance that he just does not pan out at all. And even if he ends up panning out in the future, he has a really rough year this year. So if that's the case, look, if you want to look at it super positively, you could say, you know what? The Vikings have a major fall off compared to last year. Just maybe the Bears could steal 2 from the Vikings. But they're too well built of a team for me to say that. But I'm with you. You know what, Hunter? Week 1, JJ's first start against that Dennis Allen defense is going to be tough.
Outside of I want to say one game against the Vikings last year, like the Bears kept it pretty close with the divisional teams. Here's my take on this in terms of moving to week 2 with the Lions. I think the return from Ben Johnson, you still lost both your coordinators. Listen, maybe I'm being optimistic. I think this schedule is a really tough schedule, but I think the Bears have a chance to start like 3-1 or 4-0 because now let me just give you the rundown real quick. Vikings, new quarterback, primetime week 1, first start ever, coming off a knee surgery. You have the Detroit Lions, who lost both their offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. You have the Dallas Cowboys, who have a new head coach, a new OC, and a new DC. And that's the same situation for the Raiders. Like it is a weird, because none of these teams are bad. Like I actually think all these teams will be good teams this year. But like for what the Bears are, and yes, the Bears have a new head coach, a new offensive coordinator, and a new defensive coordinator too. But I think that's a little bit of the homerness coming out. But you get what I'm saying. Like these games are not like as easy to put in the win or loss category because there's so much up in the air with all of these teams.
No, I'm with you though. You know what? Like, because we're in agreement. Detroit's going to get one of them. But you know what, Hunter? Let's start the season out hot. Let's give them the win for this. But I will say, just so I can add on to what you're saying and so we're on the same page. Again, I mean, we'll get back to them a little bit. We won't touch on it as much because it'll be the second matchup. Everyone already kind of knows what we're thinking as far as these divisional matchups go. But here's the thing: I want to be very clear. I still think that the Lions are going to be a really good team. I still think the Lions are going to have a really have a really really good year this year. And because a lot of it does bank on maybe more than I'm thinking. But Hutch does have to come back, right? Like right? The injury right now, as far as it looks, a lot of videos I've seen, they're trying to like, oh, he looks like he's already back. You can still see he's
Yeah.
like heavily favoring the other leg, and it's like, and I know it worries Lions fans. It would worry me. Like, I think like if they're gonna make a deep run, it is gonna rely on if Hutch can come back 100% again, right? And that's a big ask. I know. Well, he's has a whole year. This is a humongous injury to come back from, right? Like that's a huge ask, no matter who you're asking or how good he was playing last year when he was healthy. But aside from that, I mean, right, Hutch or not, this team is still really well built. They made really good offseason additions. The Lions, bottom line, still gonna be a really good team. But I'm here for it, Hunter. We're gonna start the season off hot.
So
You gotta love it if you're a Bears fan.
where are we going in week 3? Home versus Dallas. I mean, I can see him winning, but Dallas is one of those teams where I truly just don't know. Like, it's really going to depend off like how Mari Schottenheimer runs his team. This is also the return of Matt Eberflus.
That is crazy. Um, I think realistically, I'm with you. Like the Bears very much could win this game, but at the same time, it's kind of like I feel like 60-40 about it, Like you play the game 10 times and 6 times the Cowboys win, 4 times the Bears win. And I don't know. I think that this is still it's gonna be early on where teams are still trying to figure out how to deal with Pickens and Lamb. You know,
We
it's
can
tough
give
though,
them the
Hunter.
loss if you want it, because
I think this is a fair one though to give for the
yeah,
first loss because even though look, and here's the good news too for the Cowboys is even though it's at home, like for the Cowboys are the away team, it's still early enough in the year we're not having to deal with freezing cold weather. Right. If this game was in the middle of the year,
maybe a
I'm
different
taking the
story.
Bears,
Yeah.
right, I would take the Bears pretty confidently. But still early enough. Weather's not gonna be a humongous factor. I think the Cowboys are still well enough built. I still have faith in Dak. I have, especially now that he has Pickens. I think this defense is going to have a rebound year.
I think their defense will be good with Eberflus, especially with the cornerbacks they have. Yeah,
it's kind of like the Dennis Allen effect all over again. Like he was not built to be the head honcho, but he can thrive in the role when he doesn't need to hold all the hats. So
yeah, I think the Bears will probably come out of this like 2-2 at the worst, probably 3-1 optimistically. I think you could argue 4-0 before the bye if they come out really hot, but this is a new offense, new defense. The trap game out of these 3, I would argue is probably the Raiders because we just don't really know what the Raiders are going to be. Especially with like Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly. I mean, we know like what they're gonna do. Like they're gonna run the shit out of the ball and everything like that. But with that being said, I mean they could be pretty good. Like their offensive line isn't bad. Their defense needs a good amount of work, I would argue, in my opinion. Not the defensive line, obviously, but the secondary isn't all that crazy. I would argue probably a win here, just because I think in terms of talent, the Bears are a little bit further along than the Raiders, but I could see Max Crosby kind of wreaking havoc for a guy like a Braxton Jones or Ozzie Trapia, whoever is playing left tackle.
no, well, absolutely. I mean, look, you want my overall thoughts on it to sum it up as quickly as possible. I think the Bears D line as of right now, albeit that it's not the strength of our defense, right? But I think we could agree the Bears are built where they can handle this O line for the Raiders as of right now as it stands. They're not a horrendous unit, but aside from Colton, I mean, JPJ still has a lot of growing to do. Alex Kapp is coming off of a very bad year. Donald Parham, she's kind of just spotty is the right word. And Darnell, it's like right, we're still young enough.
Are they starting DJ Glaze this year at right tackle?
Or yeah, that's I don't know why. I don't know why I just called him Darnell.
Darnell, right? Yeah,
I meant DJ.
Yeah.
But yeah, I appreciate that. But so my thing is as far as the Raiders line goes, either young or more young than anything. I guess really let's just finalize it like this. Colton Miller's the one guy that I'm really confident in. And I think the Bears D line can do a good job, despite the fact that I do think Genty's going to be an incredible player right for a long time, especially even his rookie year. right? Like running backs don't take a lot of time to come in and go crazy when they're already
Yeah, I
incredibly
do
talented.
think. Yeah,
But I mean, I'm with you. I think that's what this offense is going to be favored around. I do think, to your point as well, the Raiders defense very well could kind of have a day against the Bears, but run and pass rush. But at the same time, Hunter, I favor the Bears in this matchup.
I
Just
do
all
too.
in all, slightly. I'm with you though that it is kind of trappy. Where I do think it'll
Yeah,
be like much closer than we
it's a
think,
trap game. Yeah.
and if
Like
not closer, like
if
they
you
could
come out
outright
of
win straight
if you
up.
come out of the gate 3-0 and then drop one to the Raiders right before the bye, like I just think that's a little bit bad vibes. Like I would rather have the L to like the first three teams if they're going to come out 3-1.
Having the bye so early is also just bad vibes if we're
Yeah,
keeping it real.
I don't love it. All right, let's go to the bye, and then we have Washington. I think the Bears have something to prove here. I don't know. Like, here's the thing where it starts getting bad, right? Because let's say they have a win against Washington, and then Dobbs, we can talk about the Saints. I would hope you would think the Bears would win that one. But then you get to the point where you're 5-1, and it's like, okay, well, I think they'll probably be like 10-7, 9-8 more likely. So that means they're going to have to go on a pretty bad losing streak to end the season. So maybe this is a more optimistic early season schedule prediction. But with that being said, it's like, that's the thing that's hard is like you can sell yourself on the Bears winning a lot of these games. But in reality, a lot of these are more 50-50 toss-ups than just how it's looking, you know?
No, absolutely. But I'll say this. Talking about 50-50 toss-ups, well, this is a prime example where I think we're on the same page that we probably we're thinking this one's a loss. But then again, this is kind of like one of those weird ones where you could say this one could get flipped.
Well, I think
like the Bears have such a bad taste in their mouth from last year.
Yeah, that's what I'm
this
saying.
Is one they really want to show up for. I do think though, all things considered, I cannot in good faith go against the Commanders building off of what they were last year. But at the same time, again, that's just in theory based off of the fact that I'm picking them right, just strength of the team as of right now. I mean, I think the Commanders are a well-built team. They made improvements, and off the fact that they had such a good year last year when they already like they had improvements to make. They've made improvements. Jane Daniels year 2, he's gonna look even better. I mean, he should.
He should.
I think it's tough for me to go against the Commanders in direct sense.
Right
but like
now,
in theory, this could be just like how the Raiders is vice versa. Like, it's like, well, yeah, they should beat the Raiders. But same thing with the Commanders. Like, well, the Commanders should probably beat the Bears, but there's an element, bad taste. You really got to show up. And I would be surprised. That's my thing. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bears would have won this game, right? It's just, I just think logically I have to go Commanders on this one. But I'll be very unsurprised if the Bears were to take this game.
There's no really gimmies on this schedule. You know, like that's the weird thing. Like they can play a couple bad teams, but there's not like a gimme. Like you just know they should like definitely win this game.
Well, there actually is coming up.
Oh, next week, you think?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm going to say, look, barring Tyler Shuck being so much better than everyone thinks, but even if he is, again, I know best. The Saints are a very poorly built team as of right now. There's a lot of work to be done in the defensive trenches, especially. If the Bears can just put the ball on the ground, take time off the clock. Caleb has an efficient day. I mean, that's the recipe to beat the Saints. It is. It's a recipe for every single team in the league. So I don't think the Bears are going to have too much trouble doing that. I think Ben Johnson is going to understand that very well. That will be the game plan against the Saints for basically everybody. So again, and considering that, and considering as well that I think the Saints are going to have a really poor year, that I think that this should be the easiest game on the Bears schedule. No, I take that back.
Yeah.
I do take that back because that's not true. There's a maybe two others that might just be even easier. However, this should be one of the simplest ones, and this certainly is the easiest one to game plan for offensively, and that's a fact because the other two teams you can't just say, well, you just pound the clock, right? Just you're going to be able to run all of them, but you certainly can say that about the Saints. So that's how I view this one, Hunter. You tell me if I'm tripping.
No, I don't really have any comments on it. Honestly, it's one of those games that it's like if they lose, it's like just from a talent perspective, it's like, what are we doing? You know?
Unless it's like their first loss of the year and you just get caught up in the trap.
Yeah. Week 8, Baltimore Ravens were in Baltimore. I'm going to go ahead and say this one's a loss.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those games where like home or away, it's just, the Bears have made a lot of improvements, but the Ravens are still one of those teams.
The Ravens are a team
And
you can never like count on being bad until they're bad.
it's just look, I mean, they got better again. They drafted well again. I just, and let's just put all the, the other stuff to the side. It's real hard to bet against Lamar. We all know
Yeah.
this, right?
So we stay in the AFC North in the next week, and the Bears play at Cincinnati. Is Trey Hendrickson a Bengal by the time the season starts? Because to me, I still think this defense has a long way to go.
Even if Shamar Stewart is Daniil Hunter 2.0, as some have predicted, the possibility of, it doesn't, yeah, this defense still has an incredibly long way to go. And I just, I mean, all in all, I'm going to say this though, Hunter. This is why the Bengals is one of the hardest games to, really gauge on the schedule. And this goes for everybody, not just when the Bears play them. The problem with the Bengals is just you never know when Joe Burrow's going to show up and throw for 450.
They'll go,
right?
yeah,
like
that's what I was about to say. They'll put up 40 any given week, but then they'll put up a stinker the next week, It's going to be shootouts. It's going to be a lot of shootouts for the Bengals.
But with that being said as well, historically speaking, Dennis Allen's defense is really good against quarterbacks that really can light things up, right? Like when he's the DC, when he's the head coach, different story. But when he's the DC, he does a really good job at kind of mitigating that.
So we're both feeling win.
I'm feeling like if the Bears defense can just show up and they don't turn the ball over a lot, I'm good giving them a win right here.
Okay, so at week 10, the Bears currently sit 5-3. Then they play the New York Giants. Now, is this the Russell Wilson New York Giants? Is this the Jameis Winston New York Giants? Is this the Jackson Dart New York Giants? Is it the whoever's that quarterback? It doesn't matter, New York Giants. Like, I still think the Bears take this one personally.
Look, I'm going to say this. They should.
They should.
If they don't, it will be because the O-line is underperforming heavily, and we are all incredibly disappointed in talking about it on Twitter every single week by this point. Because that Giants D-line is nothing to play with. And, we've talked about it extensively throughout the pre-draft process and things along those lines. But Hunter Abdul Carter is going to be incredible. And if anyone doesn't understand or have expectations for how good he should be, especially considering all the talent around him, he's rushing next to Dexter Lawrence on a 4-man rush. Like, this guy is going to go for 10 plus sacks his rookie year if he's healthy all year. I would say he's like the easiest rookie I could ever say that for. I mean, this Giants D line is going to be, they're stacked. There's no other way to say it. They're absolutely loaded. But aside from that, right, like you want to pivot from that. They have a lot of growing to do in a lot of other areas.
Their offensive line is still weak.
It's still just pretty weak. There's a lot of weak spots as far as all things are concerned. They made some good splashes, right? Like there's some surprises that they made this offseason, right? Like I won't lie to you. But I think, and Bears fans should agree. Right now, they should still be the better team. They are the more talented team on paper. They should win this game, especially considering it's at home. This is kind of like if the Bears are going to be a playoff team next year, these are the type of games you got to win.
These can't be considerations. Like these can't be toss-ups. Like if you want to actually be a competitive playoff team, you need to definitively beat the New York Giants. Going into week 11, we have the Minnesota Vikings, who we beat week 1. Want to do our classic split all division games here, so we give them a loss.
Again, and that's not always. I'm not like we can't have preferences, but it's not always split all of them. If you're in like a division where there's a team like the Panthers last year, right? Like there are certain situations where, of course, we're not going to always do that. Like that's not an every year thing. But this year, the NFC North, I think it's only valid and fair to everybody in the NFC North that's kind of how it has to go. Like this year, it's just the reality.
Yeah, I think my thing is, I think this stretch of the year, like after the Giants game, like week 11 to 18, the Bears season is really going to depend on how quickly the offense has picked up on the whole Ben Johnson first year. Like, there's a world where the offense at this point is just rolling. And it's going to be a hard matchup because the Bears defense is still really good. Or should be very good under Dennis Allen. So this is, I think, is kind of a pivotal point in where it's like the Bears could actually have like a really good record this year if they're able to pick up on the offense that Ben Johnson is laying down.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's tough, Hunter. I'm going to say though, like going forward, this is going to be tough.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, like this stretch here, but like there are still winnable games in this stretch, which we will get to. But it is this end of the season stretch is going to be tough.
I think one of them may be the Pittsburgh Steelers, whether that's the Will Howard Pittsburgh Steelers, the Mason Rudolph Pittsburgh Steelers, the Aaron Rodgers Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, this could be Rodgers' return to Soldier Field.
Look, that's my thing though. Is again, Hunter, if they don't get Aaron Rodgers, you think the Steelers team is beating the Bears?
No, not at all. I think even if they get Aaron Rodgers, they might not beat the Bears. There's not enough offensive firepower. They don't have the offense.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about a game that could be like, right, one of those 13-10, 13-7, 20-17, 20-13 type beats. Like, yeah, this definitely is going to be one of those ones. But I mean, yeah, especially right at home, this is one again, especially if they don't get Aaron Rodgers. Bears are going to be a playoff team. This is one you got to win, right? Like this is one of those ones.
Eagles week 13. I'm going to go up and chalk that as a loss. I think the pedigree of the Eagles right now just is kind of like Vic Fangio's still there. Nick Sirianni just got extended. They didn't really lose anybody. I mean, they're a little bit depleted on the D-line, but their D-line is still a lot better than a lot of other teams. So, I mean, the Bears could possibly win this one, but I don't feel comfortable at all saying that they do.
Well, I was gonna say, yeah, it's kind of like one of those things. Like, well, you think the Eagles D line it got a little bit worse, but then you consider, I mean, Moro Ojomo, how he looked in the bowl last year, all the young guys coming out, Nolan Smith looking like an absolute, having the best game of his career in the Super Bowl. I mean, I'm gonna say, like, again, unrelated but related. Like the Eagles are truly built to, like, have a chance to, like, be one of those teams, the rare teams that can really go and repeat a Super Bowl, right, championship. I mean, they're that well built. They are, in my opinion, without a doubt, the best built team in the NFL right now. I mean, the Bears could show up and surprise us, but on the road against the defending champs, this is the hardest game on the schedule. Make no mistake.
On the road versus the Packers in week 14, the only Bears win in 2025 comes away at Lambeau Field. Is it crazy to think that the Bears will probably sweep the Packers this year because they almost did it last year?
Yeah, I think it is crazy because I think Jordan Love's gonna have a better year this year. I think finally having what Packers fans hope is a number one in Golden. I mean, it's
we'll give them the loss here.
I think it's only fair. I mean, again, the Packers they got the pedigree, and I won't knock them for it. I'm not going to sit here and lie. They should be a split, but it's possible. But I think, though, hands up, if the Bears are going to take 2 games from anybody in the division, I think it's going to be the Vikings personally, which is tough to say after last year.
Interesting. But I think it's going to be the Packers personally.
Okay, well, it's good. We have some good discourse. So leave in the comments if we take 2 from any division opponent, who is going to be?
Yeah, let us know.
I guess I'm signing myself up to get. I'm taking the L straight up because everyone hates the Packers so much that I'm setting myself up for this. But
I look at the Packers and I look at the Packers, Vikings, and Lions, and the team that scares me the least is the Packers. Like, not even on some rival stuff. Like, I am much more worried about having to go up against the roster of the Lions and the roster of the Vikings. And the reality is, we don't know what Ben Johnson's going to be as a head coach, but like all the head coaches in our division, at least theoretically, are really, really good. And it's like, out of all of them, LaFleur scares me the least. I don't know, just my thoughts.
Kind of crazy, but hey, I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
So now we have week 15. Is it the Joe Flacco Browns? Is it the Kenny Pickett Browns? Is it the Dylan Gabriel Browns? Is it the
it does not matter. Browns? It does not matter, Browns. This is certainly just like the Saints and the Giants are kind of the Steelers, but not really. This isn't that same tier of like, you got to win these. You're going to be a playoff team and not a playoff team where you're just in with no expectations. You want to be a playoff team with expectations, not just even on the fringe of things. You got to win these ones, Hunter.
Currently, the Bears have 8 wins and 6 losses. We're in our final 3 games. We have the Packers at home. I think they take this one after losing a couple weeks prior to the Packers. I don't like that we play the Packers twice in 3 weeks.
The schedule makers went crazy, but at the same time, it's not good for it's not good for either team. But they went crazy because I like that it'll still be fresh. Whatever the results of the first game are, fresh on everyone's mind right here for game 2 essentially. It is weird, but I'm here for it personally.
49ers away. I'm pretty down on what the Niners are going to be this year. I personally think the Bears take this. My opinion on the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan. So what do you think? Win, loss? I think their defense will be pretty good this year, actually, though. I just think their offense it's going to take a year to figure out what they're doing, especially with all the new skill positions.
No, absolutely. I mean, don't get me wrong. I will not be surprised if they were to lose this game.
Yes,
right?
yes.
But all in all, I do think that the Bears should, which is crazy given how fast things have turned around kind of with the Niners here, but they should, right? Like the Bears should win this game.
Final game versus Detroit. We had the Bears steal one at Detroit in week 2. I think Dan Campbell might get his revenge here.
Yeah, I mean, it's only right. We got to treat the NFC North with respect. It's only fair. So
that finals out at 10-7 for the Bears, which I think is a fair prediction for them this year. I think
not only a fair prediction, it's a good expectation. That's the expectation fans should have with how much capital has gone in this offseason, how many resources. I mean, this should be the expectation, Hunter.
Yeah, I think if the Bears can find a way to get into at least the 7 seed, I'll be happy. Like, I would like to see a playoff game this year. That is my goal. If they don't make the playoffs and they have a winning record, that's okay too, though.
Look, I think I'm with you. A big step is necessary, even if that big step means missing the playoffs in a year where other teams have a really good year, and it's just one of those years you can sit back and say, like when the Dolphins went 10-6, however many years ago, right? Like there are those years sometimes where you're like, you know what? We had a good year, and it was just one of them years. And especially with how the Bears were last year, that would be considered a big step to me. But there definitely needs to be a big step.
Yep, I agree. Any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
Final thoughts. Luther Burden, Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Ben Johnson better
get your bet in while it's still get your bet in. Don't. I'm not saying to throw the house on that. I'm not right. Don't go put more than like 20 or something unless you got it like that. But you know what? Talk about an opportunity to cash big on some. We were cooking, like hey, we've been talking about it. Luther Burden, man,
dude,
don't sleep.
I'm gonna lay down. I gotta find a way out to lay down like a parlay, like with this exact schedule. See if it hits.
He's going to be so good. Everyone needs to stop sleep.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Let us know in the comments if the Bears sweep a division rival, who is it going to be? Be sure to subscribe to the Bear Cave.